of extra citations per month. So one of the problems you have is that there's no supervision. There's no supervision of the city on top of as to how they monitor the lights or how they set the timing. So the whole system is just ripe for abuse.
Okay. Well, I think after that great piece of information, let's take our next caller, Rick. Rick, thank you. You're on the air.
Hey, yeah, the first question I have is for this petition. Do you have to live in the city limits, or can you be in Harris County?
You have to live in the city limits. You have to be a City of Houston registered voter. If you're not a registered voter in the City of Houston, please feel free to sign the petition and send it in, because it helps with the numbers to let the people know, to let the politicians know that you need to put it on the ballot, because we think that they're going to try to stop us from getting on the ballot, because if we get on the ballot, we're going to win. Nowhere in the country has, once the red light cameras have been put to a popular vote, nowhere in the country has the cameras ever won an election. The people have always voted them out in very conservative towns like College Station, and in towns that are more liberal leaning. This is not a Republican Democrat issue. This crosses party lines. This is a voter revolt. And also too, please join us on Facebook, so that way we might be asking you guys to make at least one phone call to City Hall to remind them that, to have the courage, to remind the politicians at City Hall to have the courage to trust the people to do the right thing. Do not be afraid of the will of the people. Do not be afraid.
One more thing. Have you heard the commercials played on some of the other stations, the AM stations, where they call these things intersection security cameras or intersection safety cameras?
Yes.
They run this whole spiel about how it allows police officers to spend more time in high crime areas or school zones or whatnot. How come nobody's running a counter ad saying, look, these things are about making revenue, and if anything, they're going to lay off cops or cut their hours. There's no way they're going to shift these guys to quote-unquote more important areas, or there's no way they're going to cut jobs.
Well,
make it about that. Take it to the police officers union and get them as an ally.
Well, see, here's what's happening. The police officers union, you have to remember, they backed Gene Locke in the election, so they're at odds with Denise Parker. So the police officers union has got to go with Denise Parker to get a better contract coming up. So they've sold their soul for 20 pieces of silver, and the reason why you don't see ads against it, we have a limited budget. We're going to run ads, but it's still early, and they have millions of dollars they're going to throw at this. Now, as far as what the police officers are doing, let me tell you, I see these police officers every day in traffic court. They're not taking police officers and moving them to high crime areas. They're not transferring them to any other beats. The police officer who was writing tickets at Bel Air and Bel Air and Highway 59, all he's done is move down the street. He's still writing tickets. In March of this last year, they wrote more tickets than they had ever written before. So they're not transferring people from the radar squad to burglary, to investigate burglaries. It's not going to happen. City's not going to let go of the money, because writing traffic tickets generates revenue, and city needs the revenue. We all know that.
Okay. We're going to have to take a quick station break.
This is KPFT Houston. The time is 9:45, and here is a quick look at traffic and weather. The accidents that I had mentioned earlier have been cleared. Stalled vehicles are cleared. There is still an area of slow traffic on the 610 North Loop, westbound from Irvington to Ella, and also on I-10, westbound from Lockwood to Taylor. The temperature is 85 degrees, humidity is 75%. Today will be partly cloudy with a 30% chance of rain. There is a coastal flood warning in effect until 7 p.m. this evening. And now back to Community Spotlight, red light cameras and corporate influence on municipal government. And this is hosted by Mike DeLeonardis with his guest Paul Kubosh.
Thank you very much, Laura. Now, I would like to ask you, I'm a little confused, Paul. What type of citation is this? Is this a civil citation, or is it a criminal citation?
It's a civil citation.
Now, is that, it seems there seems to be some kind of confusion here. Is this what's the constitutionality of this? Well,
here in Texas, we filed a lawsuit asking for a declaratory judgment as to the constitutionality of it. I ended up employing a major lawyer from a major law firm, spent a small fortune. We got in district court. The judge threw out the ticket, but ruled the city had the authority to do it, making it where I could not take it up to the Court of Appeals because we had technically won. So the Texas courts have not ruled on it. Other courts have ruled that it is constitutional, but there has not been many rulings, and it's largely untouched in a very professional way. So I believe this is patently unconstitutional because what you're doing is you're writing a citation to a inanimate object. You're writing it to a car. If anybody takes my car, I sell my car, they don't change the registration, they're driving in Dallas, they run a red light, I get a ticket in the mail, and I haven't owned this car for 2 years. And, that's part of the problem. I believe that should be unconstitutional.
Yeah, so say, for example, I've got a teenage kid who decides to sneak the car out on a joyride late at night and gets popped for a ticket, and I get something in the mail, and, I get busted for it.
That's exactly right. And how does that change behavior? That doesn't change behavior. All that does is make the owner of the vehicle, who had nothing to do with the running of the red light, that just upsets him. And the kid who actually ran the light, no consequences.
Okay. Why don't we, after that, take another call? And it looks like we have Bob. Bob, thank you very much for calling. You're on the air.
Good morning. I'm so glad that Paul came to my favorite radio station. Was in communication with him last week over a letter that was mailed to my address by the opposition. I wanted to say two things. That I wonder how the city or state can justify non-renewal of vehicle registration on the basis of non-payment. And I also wanted to affirm your earlier comment, sir, about the propensity of being rear-ended or running into somebody that suddenly halts for these yellow lights. And that's occurred for me at least on 2 occasions already.
Yeah, I know that's happened to me a couple of times. I've almost got smacked. Anyway, Paul, go.
Okay, let's talk about registration. Understand this. If you receive a ticket, in a red light camera ticket here in Harris County, you can register your vehicle. Just go down. The city of Houston is sending out letters telling you it's been suspended, and the world's coming to an end, and you'll never be able to register your car again until you give the city money. And they're saying that DPS in Austin has suspended your registration. Do not go online to try to register because maybe DPS has. However, the controlling authority is Harris County. Commissioner's Court, and this is significant, both Republicans and Democrats voted unanimously to not suspend the registration of vehicles for running red lights on red light camera violations. Just go down to your tax assessor collector, present your tags. They're going to give you your registration. We have verified that over the last 2 weeks, and Ed Emmett actually said it to the media. It's on our website. He said it in Channel 13 sometime in February that what the city is sending out is a lie. And, that's the stuff that just aggravates me to no end, that they'll sit there, they'll lie to the public without consequence, and like we're just going to sit back and take it. It just infuriates me.
Okay, I'd like to take another quick station break. This is today's Community Spotlight, is red light cameras and corporate influence on municipal government, how corporate self-interests have become intertwined with our justice system. I'm Mike DeLeonardis, your host, and my guest, Mr. Paul Kubosh. Okay, so what about this rear-end collision thing? Tell us about some studies that have been done concerning this.
We do not have to look any further than right here in the city of Houston. our own Rice University, Professor Stein, generate thousands upon thousands